Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and on this channel I share my love of all things paper crafting. And today we're going to make 3 floral tags. They are for a swap that I am participating in. And after doing a bit of a Facebook group search, because I've never swapped with this particular lady before, I found that vintage doesn't seem to be her style. So we are going to do 3 tags that are a little bit more contemporary, which I think will suit her much better. So I suppose we better get started. The first tag, this I found as a scrap in my little tub. It's a piece of cardstock that I had painted with some brown paint for another project, and I had some left, and I thought this would be a great base because as I was searching through my stash, I found this gorgeous flower and I wanted to use it. And I just didn't have anything patterned that I felt went with it. So I'm using this scrap. But what we're going to do before we stick our flower down, I want to do a little bit of stenciling because the other piece we're going to decorate it with is this delightful butterfly. But on the brown, it does seem to get a bit lost. So I think we need to create something a little bit lighter on the background. So what we're going to do is, actually, I'll put that down there first so that we don't get ink all over my little mat. And I thought I might use some copper. This Global Metallic Copper is one of my favourite paints. So we're just going to pop a little bit on my favourite plate. This is my favourite plate in the house, covered in years of paint. So what we're going to do is get some paint on the thing, but we're going to really bounce it dry and rather do this even in 2 layers if necessary, because this stencil is so fine. There's a lot cut out, so I don't want it to seep through if I can avoid it. So we're going to use a pretty dry sponge, and I'll just maybe even go over it twice. Let's just see how we go. But we definitely don't want it seeping if possible. And if you have a really heavily laden sponge with paint, you will probably get bleed through. And we want to avoid that if possible because it's such a pretty flower. Maybe even a tiny bit more. And just gently dabbing, hopefully trying not to lift it too much. Let's just, see how that turned out. Oh, yes, that worked quite fine. I'm happy with that. And I think I also want a little bit, just a little bit down in the corner here. Same thing, just a tiny bit of paint so that it doesn't bleed through. I've only got a couple of tiny little bleeds through spots there, which is okay because our butterfly is going to cover that anyway. So I think we will leave that the way it is for now. And we're just going to pop this one aside and let it dry for a couple of minutes before we start sticking things down on there. The next one, I found this piece of scrapbooking paper, which you will see matches my colours rather nicely. And it's a bit thin, so I've just glued it onto another piece of scrapbook paper to make it a little bit more solid. And we're going for a bit of a tropical vibe with this one. So these are all very simple, just using things in my stash. So I don't know, I think, oh, hang on, is the glue going to be naughty? I got this leaf in a pack. I think it was from Kmart, but quite a while ago. So no doubt you probably can't get them there anymore. But I thought it might be perfect for what we want. Grab my tweezers, just so I don't stick my hand. Oh, what have we got there? A bit of fluff. we're going to try and place this up as high as we can. But I need a little bit of room at the top, which you will see shortly. There we go. Then I also found these die cuts in my stash. They had a really large white border, which I didn't like. So, of course, I did some fussy cutting and just got rid of it. I didn't go right up to the edge with these because I didn't want to lose these little gold bits. So I thought I'll still leave a little bit of white, but not too much. I don't like die cuts that have a really generous white border when you're trying to layer, because the white just takes over everywhere. And I don't like that. So we're just going to layer this all the way down. Pop it down there. Then the next we're going to add this flower, but I also want to pop this leaf on there as well. Maybe all like that. Yes, quite like that. Again, I have had all these things in my stash for a long time. I honestly have no idea where I got them all from. Some of these things have been living here for a long time. So it's a great opportunity to use some of them up. Seeing we're not going vintagey this time round, which seems to be the call most of the time, but not this one. Now let's have a look. We might pop that down there. Then another thing I found in my stash was this cute little ticket, again with a tropical sort of leaf and another flower. And I thought we might pop that down the bottom here somewhere to fill that blank spot. And that just gives it a little bit more dimension because we've got a couple of layers there. See, it's amazing what you can find if you go through your stash. I certainly had to go on a hunt trying to find things for this. And I'm very happy with what I found. I think we need a tiny bit more glue here though, because that's raised, so we want that to stick down. And for the top, I've decided to go with a whale tail, but I'm thinking what we might do is cut this in half and then glue it on, because sometimes I actually like the whale tail to be at the top. So firstly, we'll do the base. I'll just flip this around just so I can see what I'm doing. And we'll pop it sort of relatively close to the center. You know, not a perfect science, this stuff. I'm not getting the ruler out. I can't be bothered. That's not how we roll here. And then just line the other one up on top. Have we got that? Yep, we've got that well placed. And I picked this colour because I sort of had this limey green down there. So it's just sort of tying everything together. And I think we'll call that one complete. So that's that first one done. Now, the next one, I had a piece of cardstock which had, I didn't like the print on the front of it, so that's what I've covered up. And all I've done is glued down a heap of scraps that I had in my stash that are from spray inks, gel printing, watercolour that I didn't quite get to the edge, so I had this bit left, painting on magazine images, literally just playing with paint, even a piece of grid paper. So I just grabbed everything that was green and completely covered that tag. And then I got this, I grabbed this out of my stash. This is one of the Minte paper books. This is Flora book 5 because I knew I'd find some nice flower things in there. And what I've done, because it's autumn here in Australia, I decided to add a little bit of autumn to this instead of going super bright and tropical like the other one. And my plan was to do something like this. So just so I can work out my placement for these leaves. Absolutely loved this. I thought this was quite different colours to normal, and we don't want everything bright. Nice to have a bit of contrast. So we want that one up there relatively high, and we'll get it to cut over into that top bit. Then this one down below here. Those Minte books are absolutely fabulous. They're a bit heavy duty for the fussy cutting because they're quite thick paper, but they're beautiful quality and the images are delightful. So they're definitely worth having in your stash. There we go. And then I think this was the bit that got me on this whole thread. I went, I love this leaf shape. So sometimes that's all it takes is one bit, and then you build up your design from that rather than the other way round. Sometimes you pick a base and then you really struggle to find things that will go with it. Sometimes it's easier to work in reverse. That's exactly what I did with most of these. I picked the bits I wanted to decorate it with and then went on a hunt for appropriate bases. So we're going to lay that down there. And then on another sheet, I found there was these 3 very pale flowers. There were some other colours, ones with a bit of purple and a bit of pink, but I decided, no, we're going to go with this more natural look. And what I did do, I grabbed an ink pad, my gold one, and I've just very lightly gone around the edges just to help provide a little bit more contrast. But I don't want to completely cover up this delightful leaf arrangement here. I should have actually put that a bit further over now that I think about it. But anyway, it's too late. It's done now. See, I had this plan in my head. I should have actually checked properly before I did it, but it's all okay. We might pop that one right down there. And then this little one just up the top. There we go. Done. And I think we will leave that as well. I think that's busy enough. It doesn't need anything else added to it. And I grabbed a piece of twine. I've got a big stash of ready-made tags and things, and I thought I wanted this to keep sort of a very natural, neutral look. So I think we're just going to finish that one off with that, and that's then a perfect match for all of those. Now we'll go back to the last one. This should be dry enough that we can do some gluing on now. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to pop this delightful floral about there. And I won't glue right to the edge because we're going to have a tiny little bit of overhang, which is exactly what I wanted. I could have put it more upright and it would fit perfectly, but I don't want it that way. I definitely want a little bit overhanging. I do like things overhanging. I don't know why I do so much, but that is perfect. And I didn't take any of the white off this. I felt because there was plenty of white in the middle, it didn't look so bad. Now, this butterfly is actually a sticker. So here we go. Let's have fun trying to undo this. Okay, finally have my butterfly released from the backing. And honestly, I had to cut out, I don't know how many minutes to actually get this damn backing off. But never mind. What I'm going to do, just to make sure it doesn't come up again, I'm just going to put a few little bits down the middle. So even if it sort of doesn't stick superbly, I don't mind if it's a bit fluttery, but even though by the feels of this sticker's there to stay. And then we're going to, just got to work out exactly where we want our butterfly. It's a bit hard when, how high can we go? Okay, there we go. So our butterfly is down, and I am going to actually chop this bit off though, because it's a sticker. It will just get dirty and grotty underneath, so we don't need that bit. Then I think we need a little something down here, and I kind of liked this, but I think it's a tiny bit too long, so we'll just trim a bit off. And as I've had this sheet, I don't know where I got these from, had them forever, and because I've had them for so long, I don't think I trust the stickiness, so we're going to add just a tiny bit of glue to make sure this stays in place. And I like this one because it had that dirty sort of mottly background. I thought that would be a perfect fit for this. So there we go. Now we do need a little bit of something. I've got a little die cut set that makes funny little shapes and different tags. It's designed, I think, to make things for like a shop if you want to hand cut little labels and things. So I thought that would be perfect. Found this tiny scrap in my stash. Again, I love stash busting. And so we're just going to lay this down. I've just got to get it in the right spot because I want to make sure it's included in the tag bit. There we go. Shimmy that over a bit. Voila. And of course, with my staples, I always use a Sharpie pen and I turn them a bronzy colour because I think that looks so much nicer than bright silver. So there we go. I think we'll call that done. It's very hard with the light. I've got everything open here today because it's such a dull grey day. Don't know how much that butterfly sort of shows up on the camera, but it is rather pretty. And of course we have our natural greeny one and a tropical one. So there we go. They're ready to send off to my swap partner. Hope you enjoyed this. Any questions, pop them down in the box below. And don't forget, use up your scraps. Make some tags. Send them to a friend. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. So until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.